really go over is just things that you can progress with little kids up through high school kids. The best wrestlers, folk style wrestlers I've had in my program have a high understanding of Greco-Roman wrestling. One of them had a very high understanding, and he was a state champion 2 years ago. And he's just from his positioning on his feet, and he's made 4 or 5 world teams. And so it really doesn't hurt. I guess I'm not afraid, because I guess afraid's not the word to use, but I emphasize more things for Greco-Roman, and we've had kids that, like Peyton Omania, he didn't even train freestyle in the off season, he just trained Greco, and then he wrestles both. But, and that's kind of at the CYC, we run classes, so I have specific Greco-Roman classes when they get into middle school and high school, that the kids can either be in a freestyle class or a Greco class. So some of the kids train Greco 3-4 days a week. So the first thing I want to talk about today is just freestyle stance. So if Mason's facing here, everybody's elbows in, head up, hips in. It's the same thing. All we're doing in Greco-Roman wrestling is coming up a little bit. So you don't have to change what you're doing from freestyle to Greco. It's not here. It's just down here and just up a little bit, elbows in, head up, and just have the kids in the regular stance just coming up a little bit. So we don't have to change much. So what we want to do is tie in, because we have a unique situation in the U.S. where we're working on freestyle, folk style, and Greco-Roman wrestling. So how do we tie it all in so we're not doing 3 different disciplines in a sense? We're working it all together. So we do a lot of stance and position. So Mason will get in his stance, and we do a lot of stuff when the kids are learning, where he's just in a good stance, and Patrick's just pushing and pulling and moving them around, and just moving them, and Mason's got to keep his legs under him. The main thing in Greco-Roman wrestling, just stop there, is just keeping his legs under him. So stand back here. So when Mason's in his stance, it's just keeping his legs under him, so you can't move him around. See, his legs are under him, he's got position. Because we don't want the kids leaning this way, you're gonna get front headlock. If you're up this way, you're gonna give up your body. So it's the same thing. If they reach out on contact, they're gonna get hit on an arm drag or an arm throw. Or if they're leading with their head. Most kids use collar ties. So one of the big challenges when we wrestle domestically is not getting sucked into folk style matches. So a lot of things we talk about. I coached the California USA team for 15 years, and you always run into those really tough kids from Oklahoma or New Jersey that are freestylers, and you can't get sucked into those matches. So we really emphasize stance and points of contact. So when we make contact, we're in our stance, we're not going to reach. We're going to step elbows down, head up, and my shoulder always goes to the midline, so to the Y in his shirt. So we're always making good stance, our good contact, heads up, so the shoulder comes in, and you're always stepping to your contact. Step. So a lot of kids will go this way, and then their elbows are open. Drags. They go this way, spin. Arm throw. So points of contact. So most people go inside tie, collar tie. That I see in folk style are inside ties. So it's the same thing in Greco. We go step, step, down, shoulder to the midline. We go inside tie, wrist on the backside, thumb down, elbow tight. Because if my elbow's out, I can get hit in an arm drag. So here, step, then in, and up into the guy. Then my elbows are tight. So I'm here. Always keep your elbows have to be down and heads up. So always stepping to your contact. And that's where we get into the official side of it, is teaching the kids how to make good contact so they're not wrestling Greco like this or like this. So we really emphasize stance, contact, and the referees, when they're doing head up, contact, contact, contact. So the kids learn step, contact. They're in position. So first point of contact, inside tie, wrist, legs under you, always shoulder, knee, toe. Always stepping to your contact. Shrug your shoulders a little bit so you don't get headlocked. Cadets have a tendency to lose their line a little bit in Fargo. How many cadets have you seen get headlocked, Chapo, with the 8-0 lead? Several over the years. So you've got to really emphasize stance, contact, position. So stay in discipline, step, step. So our first point of contact was inside tie wrist, elbows tight, shoulder to the midline. If the kids start coming up, back down. Always set your shoulder, get your legs under you. So we do a lot of stuff. We go down the mat with the kids and even the older guys. So we do a contact drill down the mat. Keep resetting your shoulder, set your shoulder, set your shoulder, then Mason goes. This guy keeps heavy legs, so he's got his legs under him. So he's got really something to push on. So his elbows are in, and he keeps resetting his shoulder and making good contact. So, another point of contact is you can go stand, and always talk to the kids about splitting the body, splitting the side. Not going here. We step, and where elbows are in, shoulder in, elbows, pressure, head up. And then you can make point of contact on a baseball bat, just like swinging a bat. Your elbows are here. Here. Head up. We don't want our head over here, we're going to get headlocked. We're going to talk to the kids about head up, head in the temple, head up, pressure, and then you can switch off. Drags, 2-on-1s, we'll show some techniques. So baseball bat. They went inside tie, baseball bat. You can go inside tie. We do a lot of this with the older guys. Then we go cross pummel, outside elbow. Then we're on the outside. So I'm moving my feet. My chest comes around in position. So again, everything's predicated off here. If the kid's over here, you've got to adjust back into position. Head up, hips in, position. So one thing we do is we do our stance drill, or we do our contact drills down the mat. Then we go stance, contact. Now the big emphasis here is going to be legs. We're going to go slide by, step, step, drop, in. So now we're working on level change, elevation change. So, go ahead and put down the mat. So stance, get a good push back, drop, beat the elbow, in, go again. So what are we doing here? In any style of wrestling, we're trying to create what? Scoring opportunities with creating angles. So, we go contact. The main emphasis we want to make for Greco-Roman wrestling is stance, pressure, get a little pressure back, drop, and then you always try to beat the elbow. Beat the elbow. You got to beat the elbow. Beat the elbow. And see where my legs are under me? Head up, back straight, legs are under me. I'm beating the elbow. Now what kids do is with this hand, they do a slide by and they leave this arm out and they go this way. What am I going into? Arm throw. So this elbow is critical. You got to recover your elbows down. When you slide by, this elbow, see where I'm coming down? Here. Then you're driving through. But kids have a tendency to do this because of folks have a... So it's elbows, angle, beat the elbow, here, here. So all the freestyle guys are saying, what's right there? What do we got?
Double.
Double. So if a kid can get in position here, step, drop, all that, it's the same position. Your hips, you're in the same position if you have your legs under you. But the key is for kids, is we want to do this a lot. So again, it's stance, contact, leg position, shoulder, knee, toe all the time. If you get extended on this side, elbow's always down. In. So you got a slide by. Get down the mat. So, the other thing that happens too is you make contact, and Mason's got a good head in the hole. So you're here, stance, elbows in, into the guy. This guy will get extended with his hips up, especially high school kids. And we're gonna go head in the hole, go head in the hole. So explain what you're beating the elbow looking in.
Looking in, beating the elbow right here.
So when you come around, you're pulling hip and pull the elbow down. Okay, go ahead, do it again. So contact, hips are back, creating space on his underhook side, look in, down. This is what happens in folk style and freestyle wrestling. Right here. This window's open. Head in the hole. So you're gonna recover this side. You don't wanna be over here because he can hit you in the head or an arm. So I'm over here. You're looking, got a step, look, and then it's cut, cut. With your feet. Window's open, cover your backside elbow, beat the elbow, step, step. Now, what's also there now? Freestyle, folks, how many kids you see get their hips back here? Head in the hole, beat the elbow, single, head in the hole, beat the elbow, double, leg attack, very easy because the windows are open. You guys here? Go ahead, do it again. So again, it's about elevation change, beating the elbow, and looking for your openings. So the other point of contact is Mason does a good job. The guy Stig that took third in the Olympics from Norway, he always goes inside. 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 He's down, elbows in, he's going inside. Especially he always says at the beginning of the matches. Inside, moving the guy. So now you can create, go to your ducks. Create openings, in. So you're pushing, pulling, circle the guy, get his elbows opened up, in. He can go near side or far hip. Under. So again, what do you have off of this? You drop right in on the leg attacks too. So if he goes point of contact, pressure, pressure release, in. Easy. Creating windows, creating openings. And in Greco-Roman wrestling, it's pressure, release. Get him stepping. And that's one of the big cues I say at the senior level. the highest level guys. Keep your feet moving, keep them stepping. What are the officials looking for? Why do I want to keep him stepping and moving? Passivity. Because I want to get him where? On the mat, right? So, keep them stepping, keep pressure on them, keep them moving, move your feet. So pressure, release. Legs under you, pressure, release. Then you create your angle scores as well. Now, what do I have right now? So again, we're back to opener windows, pressure, release. Now, when I hit my drags, it depends what side my head's on. So if my head's on this side, I'm looking over here. Here, then I gotta move my feet, step. And again, we're going hips in, head up, butt down, elbows tight, pressure. So again, it's pressure, release. Inside penetration, outside penetration. And one of the biggest things, I got a young team this year in Folkstyle, they're doing this. So they're not bringing their feet to their tie. So it's always stance, contact, feet into your tie, feet, moving your feet. Okay, so moving, pressure, release. Now the other thing that comes off of this, if you are staying in good position, here especially for younger kids, it's stance, contact, letting the guy come to you, not reaching for him. So if Patrick reaches through and Mason's in his stance, you can just go arm throw.
Okay.
You ready? Push on. So, there we go. Again, it's pressure, release, and we do these down the mat as well. So Patrick's over here. Push on him. Gets up. Don't throw him on the carpet. Goes again. Okay, so again, you want your kids to be able to go with their energy, not everything this way. So we're contact, pressure, release, moving their feet, getting them coming to you. So, arm throw. Cup the collar. Kids reach for collar. Okay, he's gonna push. Set your feet on the line. Okay, push through it, Patrick. Back step. Pop. You gonna do it? You ready? Go. Push on. So a lot of things are what's happening now is you guys are seeing it in folk style, a lot of cartwheels. So at the senior level, you're not seeing a lot of arm spins because guys will cartwheel out of it. If you hit your knees, they're cartwheeling out of it. They're catching it. So by getting the guy pushing, back step, and the energy, getting the kids going back, not pushing this direction. Because I see a lot of young kids do this. The guy makes contact, and they go this way. Then they try to go this way, and they get their hips caught. Especially when they start wrestling European kids, they'll catch them right away and throw them. So again, down the mat, just easy stuff, boom. So one way Mason can do it is just go to a knee, back step, do a pivot, and then pop. And then this guy, you want him to do a front roll, like a roll over, so he doesn't hit his head. So Mason's having trouble stopping because he's not used to stopping, but if you just hit your knees and pop, the critical part to the arm throw is this leg, because if he stays on his knees, the guy's gonna go butt down, elbow out. So he's gotta extend that leg up to get him up on his back as high as he can. So again, you want your athletes to get used to going back, back, push on, Patrick, pop.
He doesn't backstab, he just pivots. He just pivots.
You'd be surprised at the cadets and junior levels, when kids can stay disciplined and stay in a stance and contact, a lot of kids reach, push through, and it's just about being disciplined and staying in the stance. So at a young age, stance, contact, position, pressure, release, creating windows to score. So again, emphasis here, especially for the officials. The job would be a lot easier for the officials if we have most of the kids stepping in and making contact and getting their chest on the guys and wrestling from here. This is tough. Is this passivity?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's what we look for, is who's making contact, who's taking hold, who's digging for hooks and all that, and shoulder in, who's making contact, and then knowing whether they are not passive.
So again, just the basic fundamentals of stance, contact, keeping their legs under them. The techniques will come off of that, but it's just staying in that position. Then they'll learn how to keep their body engaged and get in position to wrestle Greco-Roman where their legs are underneath them. So they're not like this, or they're like this. And Coach Alverson's screaming at the refs, "Pass, that's passive." And they're giving the kid a chance to wrestle out of it, which is okay, but I kind of have a philosophy of until the kid's head up, contact, makes contact on me, and I'm blocking here or here, I'm passive. So we want to teach the kids to re-engage. Stance, contact, just really critical from a young age all the way through high school. Even with the senior level guys, we work on making contact. Stance, contact. One of my big pet peeves with high school wrestling is Mason gets a underhook on me, and I do this, and they're calling him for stalling. I'm screaming at my kids, fight the tie, fight the tie, fight your position. Don't run from the wrestling. So if he gets in here, I have to out, re-engage. I'd rather see, if my kids are wrestling folks, I'd rather see them get called for stalling if they're gonna wrestle like that. It's not wrestling to me. So again, we work a lot of, guy gets the tie, transition out of the tie. Fighting positions to get out. Beats me on a 2-on-1. Again, stance, shoulder, knee, toe, into the guy. Top hand, elbow, but transitioning out, recovering elbows. Then re-engage. I'll be the first ones to be screaming at my kids if I see this. And I would hope the officials would call passivity or flee in the hole, because that's how they're gonna learn. So again, stance, contact, clearing out of ties, re-engaging with your legs underneath you. Big emphasis. I think it'll help everybody out. And the development, from a development standpoint, we'll get a lot better as a state, just from the basic fundamentals. So when you get to the highest levels, the guys have a lot more tricks, but essentially it's the same thing. The guy might start down here, but he's always ending up in here. So it's getting your legs under you, creating scoring opportunities, recovering out of ties, and scoring points. So, any questions on anything so far? Officials? Anything?
Well, the passivity is just a matter of, we want to get basically one call in the first round.
Excuse me?
But the passivity, we have one call where we can make it in the first round, so it's not like we make the passive for 10 seconds, we can't, you can use that right away. You gotta build to it and work with it and use it at the right time.
Yeah. So the point was, they've got one passivity in the first round. I'd rather get the passivity on the guy, lift him and gut him, or lift him twice and gut him, and the match is over. So I'd rather have the kids engage, contact, working on scoring. They get the call, they get the call. If not, they're in the match. Sometimes a call goes against you. You might be the guy making good contact. And then it's just about the mentality of taking down and being ready to wrestle on the mat, because that happens a lot. Asked Mason at the World Championships, he lost to Uzbek 1-0. He never got a shot on top. They put him down, the guy didn't score, he never got a shot. So things happen, you just gotta keep your head in the game and keep fighting. Question?
Question regarding front spins.
Yes.
Last year, I think I had a good amount of them being executed and also others being stopped. Can you go into how an arm spin becomes dangerous and how that technique goes away from the desired result, how it gets away from the body? What is it that these wrestlers are doing to kick that arm away from the body makes it dangerous?
Yeah, so if Mason hits an arm spin, a lot of times what happens, the kids will hit the knees and they'll start running it out this way. Don't fight it. Go back. And they get the arm outside of the body, which creates problems. So the arm gets out of the body and then they're over here cranking it down, correct?
Yeah.
So the reason, come on, a lot of the reasons, or one of the main reasons this happens, is when Mason does his arm spin, a lot of kids step outside over here. They step to the outside, no, step wrong, step. You see where his hips are? Then he's over here and you see what's happening to the arm? Don't push it through, just wait. See where he's at? And then he gets pressure on the shoulder and the elbow. You see what, because they're stepping to the wrong spot. So, from a teaching standpoint, the foot's in the middle, and then you back step, shoulder down, looking into the guy. Look in, step. This foot's critical. A lot of kids leave this foot back. And then their emphasis is here on the arm and torquing it out. When they step to the front, hits a shoulder roll, put your head down. The arm's inside. Is that what you're looking for?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's because of what I see a lot when kids start, it's their footwork, they're stepping outside. And they're over here, and then they back step and they get all the pressure on the shoulder and the elbow, and it's out here. Was that what you were looking for? Okay. So again, from a teaching standpoint, it's in here. Stance, contact, control, my foot set. Here. If they do step outside, you gotta go all the way around. This way, so you're in here, underneath the guy. In an arm spin, you always wanna be underneath, so you can roll. Pop and roll. So, the defense, all you're gonna do is go, if he goes spin, palm up, butt down. Push the head through and go to a drag, but he's gotta recover his elbow, because if he doesn't recover his elbow, and I just do this, then we're going right back into it. This Candy Cook would do what, Jamie? Double it up, right? Go 2 in a row, because the kids wouldn't clear out. Boom, boom. And you'd catch them on the second one. So, again, here, butt down, head up, still have my legs under me, palm to the ceiling, push out, recover your elbow, and legs. Into the or girl now, because we have girls Greco, right, in our state? And that's good. So, again, leg position, emphasizing to get underneath. I teach little kids just to get in the position underneath and then do a shoulder roll. We do that first, and then after they do that, so they can do it without a partner, just do a back step, turn, keep turning, shoulder roll. It's as simple as then get them doing that, and then have them teach them how to do front rolls, and then get the other student involved, hit the arm spin, and do the roll. But I agree with you, if you see little kids and the arm gets out, I would, like as a coach, blow the whistle. It's not worth kids getting hurt, because a lot of kids are just stepping to the wrong spot, and it's just a learning process. Any other questions? Okay. Question? Jimmy, question? Jimmy's seen all this before. That's how old I'm getting. Jimmy used to wrestle at the CYC. So, and Jimmy was a high-level Greco-Roman junior wrestler. He's still wrestling, and he was a high school state champion, so it didn't hurt his high school wrestling career at all. So, again, stance, contact, engage legs, creating angles. So, pushing, controlling, circling. Then you can go to cross pommels, drags. There's so many techniques you can go, but the main thing is just really keeping your legs under you, good stance, good contact, and really emphasizing that to the young kids. So like I was saying earlier, I've had really good kids wrestle a really tough kid from Oklahoma or New Jersey, and the kid comes out here, and my kid will come hard collar tie, and he'll go here, and the guy just passes him by. You know how those kids do that? So again, it's discipline. The guy comes here, catching, off. Don't let him get there. Keep it a Greco match. Keep it a Greco match. And it's easy to get sucked in because those kids are tough wrestlers. They may not train a lot of Greco, but they're tough, good wrestlers, and they suck into their game, and you get caught one time and it changes the whole match. So really emphasize stance, contact, position. So we went drags, slide bys, emphasize beating the elbows, elevation change, head in the hole. You can transition all that to leg attack. Drags, again, in folk style, a lot of kids are doing this. They reach to a wrist. First thing I do, I want them off my wrist. So same thing as Greco technique. He's on me, boom, step. You go head in the hole, drag, swings out here, circle. One step recovery, because your legs are underneath you. So you have a one step recovery. You're not reaching. So again, just step, head, elbow again, using the elbow, and you've got a lot of attacks off of there. So just moving your feet, staying engaged. So a lot of drags in Greco, you can use in folk style, freestyle. One thing we do too is we show a lot of just inside tie, double inside tie, push, pull, go inside tie, shoot the hip. There we go, not zone. Inside tie, push, pull, create an what do I have? What are you guys teaching here, right? Double, Greco, I'm just going here, right here. Lift. See how my hips are underneath me? Because a lot of kids will push, make contact, pull, hips right here. Here, up. He's not getting away from me here. Then I can go over, pivot. A lot of finishes. But again, a lot of you guys have kids that do good doubles. You don't have to change a lot up. Just good contact, pressure, pull, in. Legs under me. So, yes?
Is that considered a high dive, or is that different?
I just say shooting the hips, but yeah. Yeah, kind of the same thing. So you can go from here, as long as your elevation into the body. But a lot of kids do good doubles, and I don't see them using them in Greco-Roman wrestling. Easy. They already know it. You don't have to change a lot. Just get them using it. Any other questions? Yeah.
I have a question on the drag. Do you have a problem with doing outside drags like you were, or do you like to do inside drags too? Because I know you guys get in that inside position a lot, inside drag to the body.
So, are you talking about penetration or? the feet or?
Yeah, basically, like I said, you're in here inside pushing. They said you're doing a regular drag. They said, but you could also step on the, like you said, the other way and do an inside drag, go right to the body.
Yeah,
Is
so-
that a preference for you?
You can go inside.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Then
about.
the emphasis here is, if you go inside step, is again elbows. So I'm pushing, pulling, get them stepping, my legs set. Step is the key. This is, the legs are the key. Elbow up, this elbow is coming to this elbow. Then all I have to do is pull across. Is that what you meant?
Exactly. You're good.
Yeah, so you can do that from just a regular drag. Again, it's everything's coming from the legs. An elbow up over here. In. Pivot. Tackle. Anything. So, again, it's the legs. The legs have to go first. If your legs are back here, trouble. So the steps first. So, another, if we go contact, sometimes we end up in a kind of an over-under situation. Okay, so the left leg in, overhook side in. This guy pushes a little bit, we're just gonna pull and off balance. Off balance. So again, we're here, I get pressure in, I pull, see how my foot set? So again, it's a one step. Here, pulling the guy to me, this foot goes in a circle, run over. So again, we've got to recover elbows. I don't want to be out here. I want to be here and on the over on this side. So if he's over here, I'm on the over. Here. Heavy overhook leg in. We talked about the guys here. What do I have? I got a head in the hole. Pushes on me. Off out. Run him over. Run headlock. So what else do I have off of here? My feet are set for what? If we're wrestling freestyle. We're going to go inside trip. So he goes off balance, shuffle step, in. So again, the emphasis is here. Pressure, pull. See, my feet are on the line now. I'm set. If I'm in Greco off balance, body locks, pull here. He wants to go back. Shuffle step, inside trip. So it all ties together. A lot of times the guys will go off balance, heads down, front headlock again, legs, not here, because if you're at high levels, the guy's just gonna duck you. So again, Greco and crowding, slow style, freestyle, down to the mat. Easy. So go off balance, and then go body lock. Comes back. So again, see where Mason's legs are set. There's not much recovery he has to make with his body. Pulling, you ready? He's gonna just step up with his right foot and pop. So you can go to the body, easy to get to a body lock. So do it again. Now the key again is if we're gonna teach people to throw, where the hips are and where your legs are. Because if you're like this, it's gonna be tough to throw. Got them here, pulled them in. It's a one-step recovery. And go. So it's about the leg position, moving the guy into scoring position. So there's a lot of different throws you can throw off of that, but the main thing is pulling tight and you're going back. So we do before practice as well. The kids love this when they're learning. Is this guy really runs at him, pushes on him, we just go down the mat. So the wrestler gets used to pulling, because when you throw, and a lot of kids, inexperienced kids go this way, and then all I'm doing is loading myself onto his throw. So it's important to get him to go this way. So go. Did he lock his hands? So what is that? Would that work if a guy comes out of a shot running at you? With a lateral, easy. But the kids have to get used to going back, not forward. Now, again, this isn't something you want kids, you want them to perfect going back first before they start throwing the guy on top of them out of a good double. But Coach Chaplin, I had a wrestler one time hit this position for 2 out of bounds on one North Coast, 1997. So, again, we're going this way. Guys, energy's going, let the guy push through. Okay, arm throw, push through. Headlock, same thing. Pushing on there. Biggest issue I see with kids with the headlock is they go this way. They're going that way. So you gotta go this way. Go ahead, let's push on. You okay? Yeah, I'm gonna get up. So again, stance, contact, leg position, getting the kids comfortable going back. And one thing we do with the little kids is just, he's on his hands and knees. He just does arch overs. He's gonna sit next to him. Sit. So what kids do is they put their butt on the guy's back. And this isn't where you wanna be. So you're back, pushing. You never wanna get your knees over your toes when you throw, because then the energy's going this way. So we're going this way. So just sitting next to him, looking over, kicking over. Sit. Easy. But they're used to going back. And then you can have them crawl underneath. You can add some games to it. But they're going back. So we never want guys going this way on a throw. Knees this direction. We want to go this way. So getting them going back, then you can progress to just holding the hand. Hold his hand. Who's doing it? You doing it? Standing arch. K5, standing arch. Step, sit, pop. Okay, you do it. Step, sit, pop. Knees didn't go over the toes. Sit, step, pop. Then eventually, if the kids can start going on their own, with no partner, that's eventually where you want to get them. You can have them do standing back flips on crash pads, just to get them going, their hips over, jumping, getting their energy going up and over. So again, you don't want to go this way, because when I hit a step around, my legs go first, then I'm here, sitting in my chair, and then I'm over the top. Here. So everything's with your legs. Any questions on anything standing? Yeah.
Coach, can you just go over, one of the challenges we have as officials are leg fouls.
Yeah.
We miss a lot of leg fouls. And I know the coaches use techniques to score the leg over the top, you know, and on the leg posted. Could you go over how you teach to score that way, and what you look at as a leg foul when the leg comes up, for example?
Well, if my kid's doing it, there are no leg fouls.
Well, of course.
So the question is, leg fouls. The referees are looking for leg fouls. So let's say I was doing so a lot of guys at the senior level, watch this foot. They're doing this with their toe. You see how I'm knee knocking? they knee knock a lot. Okay? And the hips go back, and then there's a lot of good guys at that. Sometimes they catch it. Now that they have video, they catch a lot more at the World Championships. Guys used to be so fast to do inside trips, nobody could see it. Now they can challenge. Some guys are getting caught. They don't have a challenge, they burn it. Guys are getting away with it. So the question was, I try to not emphasize using the legs, because I don't think from a development standpoint, you're not gonna, I want the kids loading up, throwing over, or stepping around when they can throw over. So your question is, are you talking about posting on the leg?
Yeah. Posting, or when you post, you throw it over the leg, as long
Yeah.
as you move it over.
So what he's talking about is coming here and then shelving this direction. So go ahead. So the leg foul would be if you knock the leg out, right? If you establish his position,
Yep,
then it's good, right?
right, or, yeah, that's fine, but when you knock the knee, when you do that, right?
Yeah, some people do. Yeah, especially where I see it more so is with kids, because they learn how to do like press the knees in. So you guys do a good job catching those and to teach the kids, and sometimes they get away with it. So it's just about, sometimes they come here and they're here, but they're knocking the leg out, not establishing position, throwing over. So I always teach establishing position. So if we go over hook side, I want the kids here pinching and popping, not just isolate this leg in, not knock it out. So they can't move it, so they're locked. There's only one way to go, over or back. Is that what else?
I just trying to help us look
Yeah.
at those leg fouls, because we miss them, we have a
Yeah.
tendency of missing them.
And sometimes kids go here, I see, they catch and they knock
Yeah, that's a big one right
the
there.
leg out. Because I think a lot of the times they do that because they're not coming here
Yeah, wrong ways,
and pulling, they're going this way.
yeah, exactly.
So that would be a leg foul. No leg foul here. Leg foul here. Here. I mean, sometimes they just knock the feet out. Sometimes it's just incidental. Sometimes they're not incidental. So, was there anything else?
That's good, thanks.
And again, it gets a little tricky at the higher levels because the guys are so good at knocking the knees and creating opportunities with their legs that it gets a little trickier. But with the younger kids, generally it's because they're stepping and driving or tripping, or they're just in the heat of the moment and going with the technique they've learned, freestyle, folk style.
The bad technique.
Excuse me?
The bad technique.
So, anything else on that?
No, good, thanks.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah. Another problem, especially in Greco stuff, is this lacing the hands. How do you prevent your kids from getting laced, and how do you?
So, like internationally, if Mason grabs my hands, like if he grabs my fingers, I mean, they're just going like, so everybody sees it in the whole arena. And the ref will, hands, or they'll they'll call an attention. Now, what I try to emphasize is just points of contact again. We're not going here, we're coming here, here, here.
You're attacking wrists. You're
Right.
not going anywhere near the fingers.
Right.
A lot of people coming in like this and looking.
Sometimes I think what happens is the kids just come here and they'll just go here and they end up, and I think the officials do a pretty good job of fingers. I think at a developmental age, we gotta talk to them and fingers, and then if they're on it, blow the whistle, attention. I think sometimes we throw out a caution, without the little kids especially. They're trying to figure it out, but I think it's okay. I mean, I agree with calling if the kid keeps doing it and the coach is teaching the kids something that's gonna get them in trouble at a higher level.
They use it to, they want to slow the person down, so they use it to grab.
Right, and I
slow
think
down.
from an emphasis of teaching the kids from a developmental standpoint, we want to teach them the right way. So attention, you keep doing that you're gonna get caution, and then if you got caution, generally, if they get penalized, they won't do it again.
So basically, you're saying is that what you're showing, if someone's doing it to you, just start shaking and.
Well, yeah, I mean, at the higher levels, the guys are like going, shaking their hands, so the guy lets go.
Do you keep your fingers in when you're making a contact, you not spread your fingers out?
Yeah, so that's a good point. So thumbs and hands, so stepping and reaching for it, not getting out here. But attacking the points of contact are critical to teach the kids. Where their shoulder goes, because if their shoulder's in here, probability that they're gonna be out here is less. So in here, wrist, here, here. Because a lot of guys like Omanya, if a guy grabs his hands, he's ducking them this side. That's his read. So I mean, it's just some guys, they don't grab because at the higher levels, you grab a hand, they're ducking it. You know, you're hanging into positions. So it's just about, again, with younger kids, the emphasis of the points of contact, where they're grabbing and adjusting their position, and keeping their legs under. Anything else?
Hey, Coach.
Yeah.
There's a technique I've seen in the past couple of years where they're grabbing the wrist, they're ducking real hard with a big step and attacking the waist at the same time, that head going past the side. Does that make, you know what I'm talking about?
Come over here. So he's go inside. Steve, go Steve. So you're talking about he's going this way and going this way?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's going here, and then he circles a little bit and he comes back this way. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, but there's a big step deep, and they're taking him down.
So what generally happens is, that's what I was talking about on the duck unders, is cut with your feet. So like when you're doing a redrop, you're pulling and you're stepping, right, to here. You see how you're cutting the guy off?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of the same principle on the duck, is you're cutting him off on the front. So he'll go this way, and then a big step around, or a lot of times the guys won't even step to the other side, they'll just go here, in, and then a big step, cut across, step and in.
Yeah, I think it's similar to that. It's something that JD's doing down out of Florida. You know, that's super. It's just a super deep step.
Yeah, I think
blasting through them.
the emphasis.
Like a last double, but Greco?
Yeah.
A Greco blast double with
Well,
a.
that was kind of the emphasis on that slide by, is here.
Yeah.
You're here, and then you're doing the double or the hips.
Okay,
So the same
sounds
thing,
good.
if you duck it, so a lot of kids are good, again, we're back to an inside tie, you guys all show inside ties. Here, pull, step, head up, cut. Now you're into the body. He's either gonna turn down, or he's going over the top. Because I got him locked in with his hips. So again, it's the footwork to get in. Is that what you were kinda, your questioning, or?
It's similar.
Okay.
I'll address it later. It's fine.
Okay. Any other questions?
Oh, but one thing
So I can't describe it right.
emphasize is about going backwards, some of that Greco, while you're scoring, it's gonna be going backwards, and the young officials who are coming out, especially when it comes from Stone, some of that, they get such a, you gotta go forward, you want to be passive. Where in Greco, you gotta emphasize that, no, backwards is the way you wanna be going, you shouldn't be penalizing you for going backwards because you're setting up throws.
I think the point of emphasis he's making is the actions when you're throwing, you're going this way. But I know what he's talking about. You gotta go this way, but it's not this way.
Right. You're not constantly backing up.
And then that's fleeing wrestling or passivity, but
That's what I'm trying to think, what's the difference?
if the
between
guy's
those
pushing
steps
on you
and
hard,
going
you set your feet, you go. Is that what you mean?
Right. It's kind of more of, you got people who, they're holding the ground, whether they're backwards or that, I think that the person's going forward is the one who's not being passive. Where in Greco, that's not necessarily always the case.
Yeah, it depends how I'm coming forward. If I'm here,
Right.
this is passive.
Yes.
If the guy's here, he's gonna get thrown, this is reaching.
So that was Gary Mayow's point, is that you're scoring going back, the score goes back, so don't penalize my guy when he slips, either gonna stand them up or they're
Yeah.
gonna be leg caught, because that's how I'm gonna take the motion to score.
Right, and I think that's a critical point, Coach Mayhew's really good about that, is not penalize, especially at the developmental age. We don't wanna penalize the kids for making attempts,
Taking a risk, yeah.
taking a risk. So they're hitting an arm throw, they slip. I mean, if the kid comes all the way and runs all the way around the front and comes behind, you're giving 2. But if it's a good attempt and a slip, not a bailout,
Yeah.
I think sometimes the coaches have an issue because the kids are bailing out and they try a poor throw to get out of the position, and then a slip's called and they're like, the guy's bailing out. So that's 2 different situations. If you're really making good contact, and I'm moving the guy and working for a score and I make an attempt, then it's a different situation. And I think that's where officiating comes in from a developmental standpoint, and even with the coaches, educating the coaches. Sometimes they're not happy, but that's the way the rules are. I think from a developmental standpoint, it's better for kids when they're making more attempts. Anything else on that from an official standpoint?
You mentioned the bailout.
Yeah.
As a parent, I watched that. It's usually judged on the position of the kid that's actually making the throw that's, why it's considered a bailout or not. If he's in a bad position, and of course it looks like he's gonna go to his back, this kid's squeezing or doing something, and then he attempts that throw, there's that fine line of telling whether it's a bailout compared to actually throwing.
And I think, see that more in freestyle, when like in a double leg, when the guy does a chest lock. And he's going back and it's like, he hits his back, flat back for 4, and they're throwing in the cube saying he threw him. Well, the action went through the guy on a double, hit his back, and then he popped through. So that's 4. So it's the same thing. If I'm here, and he's got a good underhook on me, and he's pushing and I'm blocking, and I just go, I'm under attack.
Right.
So then I would agree with the call, even if it was my kid, call 2, because he needs to learn the lesson of, he needs to fight the position, not bail out of it. So,
And then you also have the phony head and arm at the edge of the mat trying to avoid it.
yeah, and again, if he's under attack this way and he throws a bad head and arm, falls down, if he's under attack, could be 2, yeah. And I think a lot of coaches don't understand that, but I think as you make the calls and they're gonna be upset, but, cause they're in the heat of the moment with their kids, but, I mean, I'd rather have them learn the correct way to do it than let them off the hook, and then when it really counts, they're getting in trouble. So again, the main emphasis is, from the officials, is what, at a coaching standpoint, is not having your kids wrestle here, have them recover out, and get their legs back under them in a position to make contact. So if he's got me beat here, I'm not running this way. A lot of kids go this way. I'm going in, out, and I'm back engaged with the guy. So I'm fighting the position. If it beats me here, I'm on an over, fighting the position. Beats me here, fight the position. Not run from the position. And I think that's what we really need to emphasize to the kids is your head's down. I see a lot of this, and the coaches don't understand why this wrestler's being called for passivity. And you guys all know this is blocking. And Serge made one of the best calls I ever saw last year at Temecula Valley. The coach came a little unhinged, but he was 100% right. The kid was running from wrestling, and he warned him. He wasn't fighting the position, running, boom. And the coach came unhinged, but it was the right call. The kid's running from wrestling. This year, it seems like the calls are a little better, like on out-of-bounds calls. I'm seeing in folk style, where they're emphasizing the kids to circle in, fight in, not just float out and wrestle the position.
But it's a new rule change, though, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, neutrals, automatic stall, if they're
Yeah.
going out of bounds, they're not under attack, proof.
And I think that'll help with freestyle and Greco-Roman wrestling, because they're having to stay more engaged and wrestle.
And then I see everything going on, you're questioning it, seeing more and more what they are, so they're realizing that they're getting hit too much time, they're much more.
Right, and I think that's as they learn the process, the coaches are gonna coach to the rules, so they're gonna make the adjustment, so that kids don't get called for stalling. So, that's a positive I've seen. So, and I really emphasize to my kids, I mean, I'm just screaming at them, if you're gonna take a tie, use a tie. We're not just hanging on, the idea is to score points. So score points. Do they always do that? No, and then Coach Chappell's yelling at me over there, your kid's hanging on a 2-on-1. But the emphasis is just keep the kids moving and try to get them to use the ties to score with, because they go through from a developmental process, and that'll keep them going the next levels, because they're not gonna get away with that as they get into the senior levels. So,
That's an important part, because like, that's one of the things that the kind of showing us to look for, it's like when you kick that, like Rissa just saying, you're in here, they're just holding it, not doing anything.
right.
That also would help the pass safety, because you're blocking off one arm, not letting do anything with it. You can't then retie, you can't do anything, so if you do that, like you're saying, do something that's blocking,
Right.
drag, because
Open.
And I think from a developmental process, I mean, when you go overseas, the guys learn, they're blocking, but they're scoring right away. If they block for a split second, it's to create an opening and they're scoring. If they keep their head down, they're blocking, they're gonna get called. So I mean, they're savvy, especially you get to the higher levels, how they block, but you know, it's just a split second with just create an opening and go. So that's why I was emphasizing, a lot of your kids are using inside ties with head in the temple or head position here, head here. If they're pushing, pulling, moving, creating angles and then making attacks, it's different than wrestling here. If they come out and make contact and pull and move or create an action, it's different. But if they're just hanging out there, then it's an issue. So I think the main emphasis is when you're on your feet, you're teaching all three styles, is to try to incorporate, when you're teaching Greco-Roman, how you can tie it into your other styles of wrestling so that it all works together. So you're not, the kids aren't wrestling here when it's Greco time. They're down here, ready to wrestle. So you're not changing too much up for the kids. And a lot of the techniques they can use, arm throws, arm spin, headlocks, body locks, they can use in freestyle. So it all ties together. So we really emphasize at the younger ages, we're just showing wrestling techniques, and we show them the positions, and then we progress into, you know, they'll start really focusing on Greco or freestyle practices. But at the beginning, we're working on just a curriculum of learning all the basic skills and positions, arm throw, drags, their good leg attacks, just basic wrestling, but it all ties in together. Any other questions on that? One of the points I wanted to cover today, what time is it, Berto?
it is 11:40.
Okay, for a few minutes, as I see the kids are in the bottom position or they get taken down, and the coach says airplane, and the kids are like this. And their elbows are past their ears. We never want to get our elbows past the ears. And especially I see kids with the lock, they'll go no lock defense here, and then the kid will get a lock. See a lock? And the kids will leave their arms here. And the elbows are, I see little kids get hurt a lot at the state meets because the coaches are yelling, airplane, and the kids are here, and the kids got a lock and they don't understand where to move their hands and some basic rules of thumb. So, back up there. So, but we always emphasize that. So, elbows, not past the ears. Bend the elbows. Mason goes fingers. I show kids to go here. Make fists because they get their fingers caught in the mat, little kids. So he makes fists. Hips are always square to the mat. Tight here. Toes are in the mat. And he's heavy here. Okay, so what we do is we get the kids